It's my pleasure to welcome you here for this webinar. We about 2 months before the 20th World Conference of AIVP. It's quite a significant for us. The conference will take place in New York, Brooklyn, more precisely, from the 18th to 21st of November 2025, and it is organized in a partnership with the New York City Economic Development Corporation. The theme of the discussions for the 3 days will deal with the innovating port cities and climate, and what we call the navigating change, and to include resilience in our project. This is a major step for AIVP. This is the first time that the World Conference will take place in America. And as you all know, AIVP will, in January 2026, will open the AIVP North America office in Canada. Therefore, this is a major step in the growth and development of our association for the coming years, of course, and of course, to introduce a new network dynamics with organizations and actions at a supra-regional scale. From the technical standpoint, you have access to simultaneous translation in English, in Spanish, and French. Of course, just click on the globe at the bottom of the right-hand side of the screen and just select the language you want to listen to. And to ask you questions, we have a chat. You may ask your questions in the chat, and all the participants will reply and will pass on the information to all the participants. We have with us Justyn Turner and Mac Taffet, both representative of the New York City Economic Development Corporation, Randy Pierce, who represents the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, and my colleague from AIVP, Jorge Sanchez, and Lucille Audievre. We'll start with Justyn Turner, who is Vice President Partnerships within the New York City Economic Development Corporation, and who's been working with us now for more, he's been collaborating with us for over 6 months. So many of you met Justyn in the Lisbon conference for the preparation of this event. So Justyn, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I'm Justyn Turner, and I'm honored to join you today on behalf of the New York City Economic Development Corporation, NYCEDC. We're a mission-driven not-for-profit that manages more than 65 million square feet of city-owned property across the 5 boroughs, with leadership appointed by the New York City Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here with you as we look ahead to the AIVP annual conference this fall. At New York City Economic Development Corporation, our mission is to shape the future of New York's economy by investing in people and industries and in the places that make our city thrive. That means everything from supporting innovation in sectors like life sciences, offshore wind, and deep technology, to ensuring our waterfront continues to be a vibrant, resilient, and inclusive part of New York's identity. That's one reason we are so thrilled that AIVP chose New York City as the host for this year's conference. New York, at its core, is a port city. Our harbor has always been central to our history, our commerce, and our culture. And as we think about the future, whether it's addressing climate resilience, building sustainable infrastructure, or strengthening the connection between our waterfronts and our communities, these are global challenges that we know we can't solve alone. That's why AIVP's work is so important. The chance to bring together port cities from around the world, to exchange ideas and solutions, and to learn from one another couldn't be more timely. And while the conference itself is still 2 months away, we see today's webinar as the beginning of that dialogue. It's a chance to share some of the themes that will guide our conversations and to start building momentum toward an incredible gathering here in New York. When you arrive in November, we're excited to spend a day with you all on the water, showcasing our skyline, our harbor, and the projects and partnerships shaping the future of our city. From our expanding ferry system, to major investments in climate adaptation, to the transformation of former industrial spaces into engines for innovation and green jobs, These are examples of how New York is reimagining the role of its waterfront in the 21st century. My colleague, Max Taffet, will highlight more of what you will see in just a bit. But just as important, we're eager to learn from you all. Each city representing the AIVP brings valuable lessons and perspectives, and the exchange that happens at this conference is what makes it so powerful. So let me close by saying thank you for joining today, and thank you for being part of this global network. And on behalf of the New York City Economic Development Corporation, we are honored to host you in just a couple of months and can't wait to welcome you to our harbor and to our city. We look forward to seeing you.
Thank you so much, Justyn. Be sure that it's a great pleasure for AIVP members to go to New York in 2 months, and we are very excited to discover all the projects. And I have now the pleasure to give the floor to Max Taffet. Max Taffet is a Senior Vice President for Ports, Waterfront, and Transportation Assets Management for the New York Economic City Development Corporations. So, Max, please, you can present all these beautiful projects now.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for the warm introduction, Bruno, and thank you to Justyn for setting us up here. My name again, Max Taffet. I am one member of approximately dozen-person team that does maritime and waterfront asset management on behalf of the New York City Economic Development Corporation. We are one division of about 500 folks who run, manage, and plan that millions and millions of square feet that Justyn mentioned on behalf of the residents of New York City. I'm going to start things off here by giving a quick orientation of New York City, the immediate surrounding region, and most importantly for the AIVP discussion, the waterways, as that's sort of the connecting tissue between all of these maritime assets and communities. New York City is situated immediately adjacent to New Jersey, and up to the northeast, Connecticut. New York City is really a series of islands. Many people forget that when they get lost in the ocean of tall buildings. But New York City is also much, much more than just tall buildings. Of course, it's comprised of 5 boroughs. Manhattan, that folks are familiar with, Brooklyn, that you're going to get very familiar with, Staten Island, Queens, and the Bronx. And then in terms of orientation on the waterways, folks are often referring to rivers, the North River or the Hudson River, which is an actual river coming down from upstate New York, and then the East River, which is not actually a river. It is a water body that is being pushed twice a day from water coming in from Western Long Island Sound and up through the Upper Harbor. So tides change twice a day in New York City, and the real sort of center stage for New York's maritime activities are the Upper Bay and Newark Bay, where the major container terminals are. Our Suez Canal on the East Coast here is the Kilvan Cull. That is an 800-foot wide water body that connects the Upper Bay to Newark Bay. It is 55 feet deep, and essentially it is bridge heights between Staten Island and Brooklyn, and between New Jersey and Staten Island, as well as the Kilvan Cull, that effectively is the maximum size box for how large it is that vessels and product coming in and out of New York Harbor can be. New York City and its region are very much defined by working waterfront facilities. This is just a smattering of the hundreds of marine terminals and working waterfront sites across the region. Some of the bigger facilities are the ones marked in orange across New York City and New Jersey. The small blue dots are regional ferry landings, and then the mid-sized blue dots are significant maritime facilities around the New York City region in particular. We have 520 miles of waterfront in New York City alone, which is more than Chicago, LA, Boston, San Francisco combined inside of a single municipal area. Some of the things that we are really focused on right now, one of the key legs of our initiatives are the Harbor Climate Collaborative. This is a collection of waterfront, industrial, post-industrial facilities where we are convening and engaging in innovation and creating innovation ecosystems. This is the case at the facility managed and run by New York City Economic Development Corporation, BAT, the Brooklyn Army Terminal. This is a partner entity in the city, the Trust for Governors Island, the New York Climate Exchange located on Governors Island in the middle of the Upper Harbor, and then the Brooklyn Navy Yard with its various innovation facilities, as well as its major shipyard, ship repair facility, GMD Shipyard, located in the historic Brooklyn Navy Yard. Connecting, Justyn mentioned the New York City Ferry, which will be one of the many ways that we engage with visitors on the AIVP Summit. New York City Ferry is comprised of more than 24 ferry landings that the New York City Economic Development Corporation has worked to establish and install since 2017. We have a fleet of 38 vessels that we had custom built for this facility. And we are in ongoing efforts to optimize routes, be responsive to growth patterns and business trends across the city, and look forward to sharing and engaging with international partners on similar systems and lessons that can be learned. One of the facts of New York City is the waterways and the bridges. This can create challenging transportation and congestion dynamics. Because so much of the port capacity is located to the west of the Hudson or the North River in those major New Jersey marine terminals. Many goods have to essentially squeeze across a limited number of bridge crossings in order to reach the dense population center, the 8.5 million people that live in New York City. As a part of this, we're very focused on our Blue Highway efforts, which is strengthening our existing cross-harbor barge system, as well as establishing new infrastructure to allow for essentially using our waterways to stitch together and create more connections that decrease congestion across the city and region. Particularly, this is the case with reinvestments in Brooklyn Marine Terminal and up in the Hunts Point Peninsula, which is a major food distribution center providing roughly a quarter of the food that is consumed by New York City residents. An exciting part of this infrastructure to facilitate innovation and bringing goods off of the waterway into the dense city is our recently announced naming of downtown skyports as the new operator of the Lower Manhattan Heliport, now renamed the Downtown Skyport. This is a partnership that includes Group ADP, and it will be bringing in electric vertical takeoff and landing technology aircraft, which all are anticipating imminent approval by the U.S. Aeronautical Regulatory Agency, and simultaneously commitments by our new operating partner to establish a Blue Highway landing to allow freight goods to arrive directly at this waterfront site and thereby enter in smaller micro freight modalities into the city's grid. Another taste of the exciting things going on in New York City is our developments with offshore wind. For the last 7 years, the state of New York and the city of New York have been working to bring additional electricity directly into the grid of the 5 boroughs. Part of this is being, well, more than part, all of this is being facilitated by way of maritime investments and facilities in New York City. This is a rendering of what South Brooklyn Marine Terminal, a 74-acre port facility that has been under construction for the last 2 years, nearly $1 billion port improvement by our partner, Norwegian energy giant Equinor, who will be bringing in enough electricity at this site through the substation in the lower right-hand corner for 500,000 homes in New York City. This is going to be playing the role of a staging port, a long-term operations and maintenance base, and the point of interconnection. The little vessel there that you see in the operations and maintenance base, that was a US-built service operations vessel that is the first hybrid electric service operations vessel that will be operating in New York Harbor for the coming decades to support the Empire Wind project. The Empire Wind project is actively in construction right now with cable lay operations underway by Nexans and Crowley. The Marmac 306 barge, if you look at marine traffic on the web, you can actually see this vessel actively moving through the harbor, working to unspool Nexans cable. This is a French company that has established cable manufacturing facilities in South Carolina and is integral to the implementation of this project. I'm now going to jump over to a slightly more zoomed out view of New York Harbor to give a further kind of context taste of the size and scale of some of the container terminal and cruise facilities. One of New York City economic development's critically important facilities is the Manhattan Cruise Terminal. That is located up here on the west side of Manhattan, just west of the Theater District, Midtown, and Times Square. Almost daily, we have cruise ships coming and going out of this facility. This is Piers 88 and 90 that are the Manhattan Cruise Terminal piers. A trick for orienting yourself when you get to New York City is the piers on the west side of Manhattan. If you take the number of the pier, in this case 88, and you minus the number 40 from it, you will have the cross street. You're here, 48th Street is Pier 88. So if you're ever lost on the west side of Manhattan, that is the quick trick to finding your way. That is a core example of upland communities living and thriving in close proximity to a major working waterfront facility. Jumping over to Brooklyn, I mentioned the Brooklyn Navy Yard. You can see the scale of this facility that was transferred from the federal government to the city of New York in the mid-20th century. Since then, New York City and the Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation have been actively working to reinvest in this facility. You can see the activities of GMD Shipyard doing full-scale ship repair, major graving docks here, as well as one of the two home port facilities for the NYC ferry system. Then hopping just down the road, one of the critical facilities that is important to cross-harbor freight moves is the Brooklyn Marine Terminal. This area, surrounded in the pink line, approximately 122 acres, is the smallest of the container ports in New York Harbor, around 1 to 2% of the total containers in the harbor, and is responsible for a cross-harbor barge system. There are two barges that are right here that come and go from New Jersey terminals with containers in order to alleviate that congestion around the region. Primarily, the commodities coming and going into Brooklyn directly are foodstuffs and smaller items out of ports in Latin America. Coming down, I gave a flavor of the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal. This is the 74-acre offshore wind port. You can see in this July 2025 aerial the amount of construction that is underway. It's anticipated that the big nacelles, tower components, and Vestas, the original equipment manufacturer for Equinor's Empire Wind project, will be taking over usage of the complete port next spring. So the team is working feverishly in order to bring this facility online to make that operation occur. Part of this actually has a rail line moving through it. And this is actually the single location in New York City where the subway system, the New York City transit system, meets the outside world. So it is on this rail line where new subway cars arrive and old subway cars depart into the world and actually then move through the streets of Brooklyn down First Avenue to the last remaining rail float in New York Harbor, which is the 65th Street Rail Yard. The 65th Street Rail Yard has a cross-harbor barge system that is one more freight sort of metaphorical bridge over to New Jersey, to the Greenville Yard, which is over here adjacent to the largest and most efficient of the New Jersey terminals, CMA-CGM's Port Liberty Bayonne. CMA-CGM recently acquired this terminal, as well as the largest container terminal in New York State, which among the Jersey terminals is one of the smaller terminals at the far end of the Kill-Van Kull waterway. Down here on the northwest corner of Staten Island is CMA-CGM's other New York terminal, Port Liberty, New York. Then up in Newark Bay, we have Mars Terminal, APM, which is affiliated with Maersk, and Port Newark. So this is actually 3 major container terminals. Across the board, all of these container terminals make for, from time to time, one of the largest container operations, container ports in the United States, flip-flopping for first place with California. The last zone that I'm going to call out is this sort of bleacher seats, the stands, essentially, in Staten Island along the Kill Van Kull on the north shore of Staten Island. This is all of the small maritime industrial businesses that are directly across the street from individual single-family homes and apartments. So this is shipyards like Cadell Dry Dock, that is another major ship repair facility, or tug and barge companies like McAllister, Moran, Rheinauer, all of whom provide essential maritime support services that keep the Port of New York and New Jersey humming and allow us to bring on waterfront and maritime projects such as resiliency infrastructure or standing up ferry systems on the fly. I'm excited in person to go into further depth on all of this geography and talk about what we share, opportunities for collaboration, and to answer any questions should we have time.
I'm very impressed by the diversity of projects you've shown us through the city port interface. I'm amazed, actually, and I'm sure that all members of AIVP will learn a lot when visiting such projects on site. But without going into politics, I'm happy to see that all the projects around the wind farm, offshore wind farms, are still going on with the will to get involved in the energy transition, which is, of course, essential today. So in the list of projects you've just shown us, described, Max, I mean, we could see that at 3 major sites in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Navy Yard, the Army Terminal, and the South Portland Marine Terminal. I mean, 3 sites which are specific elements, and therefore it gives me my pleasure to welcome Randy Pierce, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, will be in New York, but will be in Brooklyn, in New York and in Brooklyn. And we could look at Manhattan skyscrapers from Brooklyn. So it's an interesting site for us. And therefore, it's a great pleasure welcoming you here, Randy, and thank you for your support. You have the floor.
Bruno, thank you so much. And thank you to my colleagues at EDC. I was a great presentation, Max. I appreciate it. I actually learned some things along the way. So I'd love to get a copy of that for reference for the Chamber. I appreciate that. Welcome to Brooklyn, a bridge to the world. Yes, you will be in New York City, but the reality is Brooklyn is the creative heart of New York City. And quite frankly, there's no other reason to leave Brooklyn. Just come to Brooklyn and stay and view Manhattan from a distance. It's okay. But we are honored to welcome all of you to our hometown, to my hometown. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of Brooklyn and its economy so that you have some context in terms of where you're going to be. So next slide, please. So a little bit about Brooklyn by the numbers. We are about 70 square miles. We have 30 miles of waterfront. And if Brooklyn were its own city, we'd be the 4th largest city in the United States by population, with almost 2.8 million people. We are a young borough. Our median age is 37 years. And we have always been a borough of immigrants and change. More than 1/3 of the people who live in Brooklyn were born somewhere else, and about 45% speak a language other than English at home. In terms of Brooklyn's economy, since COVID, we've contributed almost half of New York City's overall economic growth. And we're also home to 20 colleges and universities, including NYU Tandon School of Engineering, St. Francis College, SUNY Downstate Medical Center, and many others, Pratt University as well. Next slide. In terms of Brooklyn's economy, there are 62,000 businesses located in Brooklyn, but 84% have less than 10 employees. So we are very much a small business economy. We contribute almost 650,000 jobs to New York City. Healthcare is our largest employer by employment, but tech is our fastest growing sector. In fact, tech has increased almost 50% over the last decade and a half, creating over 13,000 jobs. Our retail, trade, and hospitality sector are also growing. And interesting fact that we are home to almost 1.5% of all the graphic design jobs in the United States. Next. Our downtown is to rival Manhattan's downtown, but we are a mixed use downtown. We were designed originally to be sort of a back office mecca for the financial firms that were located in Manhattan. But it turns out that it was more valuable to build residential alongside commercial and create a new downtown, which we actually think is the future of downtowns that are mixed use. And quite frankly, it enabled us to weather COVID a lot easier than some of the strictly commercial districts in Manhattan, because we already had a residential base in place that could feed the local economy. And we weren't overly reliant on office workers coming back to office buildings. So we are very much a mixed-use downtown. Many of the buildings that you'll see right outside your window at the Brooklyn Marriott were not even there 20 years ago. So this is all a very new phenomenon in terms of our downtown development. Next slide. As I mentioned, tech is our fastest growing sector. I think you have a visit to Future Lab. New lab at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. It's going to be an experience for you for sure. That is probably New York City's premier sort of tech accelerator. But we have tech at the Brooklyn Army Terminal. We have tech at Industry City. We have a growing tech sector that's very organic in North Brooklyn, where literally tech startups are functioning from coffee shops. In fact, in terms of new tech startups, we're second only to San Francisco. Brooklyn is second only to San Francisco at this point in terms of launching new tech startups. This is little tech. These are startups. Big tech is still based in Manhattan, but there's a lot of creativity and innovation in the tech sector in Brooklyn. Next. We have a strong focus on healthcare and biotech. In fact, it's the one sector, the life sciences sector, where New York State actually does make very targeted investments on the incentive side. EDC leads a lot of these efforts to attract life sciences companies to New York, including international life sciences. And Brooklyn is happy to support that effort at places like BioBat at the Brooklyn Army Terminal and at our large healthcare institutions. Next. So the history of manufacturing. So the history of Brooklyn's economy is really tied to the history of manufacturing. Through World War II, Brooklyn was the fourth largest manufacturing center in the United States. When we were producing battleships at the Brooklyn Navy Yard, we were an economic powerhouse in the heavy manufacturing sector. Like many industrial cities after World War II, when heavy industry left, Brooklyn faced some of the same challenges that many of the cities in the Midwest faced. But the good news to this story is that aside from having our own known brand, people knew New York City and knew Brooklyn, we also had a lot of heavy industrial space that could be repurposed for other uses, including in some cases residential, which was enabled us to attract creative class to North Brooklyn. But in places like the Brooklyn Navy Yard, in places like Industry City, in places like Brooklyn Army Terminal, it enabled us to repurpose this heavy industrial space, which, by the way, all of those facilities sit on the waterfront, and all of those, to some degree, leverage the waterfront, as Max pointed out in his presentation. But if we didn't have this heavy industrial space to repurpose, we wouldn't have had the economic transformation, which really took place over the last 40 years, which has positioned Brooklyn to really be the creative heart of Brooklyn's economy. Next. Actually, that's it. So that's a little teaser about what you're going to see and what you're going to experience when you get to Brooklyn. I will put in the chat. Brooklyn Chamber also manages the tourism platform for Brooklyn. It's called visitbrooklyn.nyc. And you can distill down to a neighborhood level guided tours, self-guided tours, so that you can really experience all the neighborhoods of Brooklyn. And there are 51 neighborhoods, and they all have something unique to present. So I will put that in the chat. I encourage you to take a look. And when you're here, I encourage you to really get out of downtown and really experience places like Weeksville, like Coney Island, like Canarsie, like Bay Ridge, and all that we have to offer throughout the borough of Brooklyn. So thank you, Bruno. Thank you to AIVP and to my friends at EDC. It'll be my pleasure to see you all at the conference.
I will give the floor to José Sanchez, my colleague, who will now describe the program of the 3 days conference in Brooklyn and New York. And as we try to do, we will have several sessions, plenary sessions, and then on-site visits, that will enable us to discover all the projects. José, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Bruno, and of course, thank you very much, Max, Randy, Justyn. I'm sure everybody is as excited as we are after seeing your presentations. It's great because it really shows how New York is an active port city that very often people are not aware. It has this global image that sometimes overshadows this strong logistics and maritime history and the current innovative projects that are taking place in the waterfront. So I think this was great, and it reinforces the idea and the reason why we wanted to organize this conference in New York after having it in Venice and Lisbon. So just very quickly, I'm going to walk you through the program without entering into too much detail because we don't have so much time. But and then I'm going to comment just very, very briefly some of the topics. But in short, what we have planned for you and with our colleagues at the EDC is 4 days of program. I would say a first day that is a bit lighter and is focusing on our members and having the discussions around AIVP, and then 3 busy days, I would say, of different sessions, visits, learning about New York, learning about different cases, and having also a great time, I have to say. So on the first day, on the Tuesday, 18th of November, at the end of the day, we're going to have the AIVP General Assembly. This is for our members, but of course, you're welcome also to attend and learn about what AIVP is doing. And this will be followed by a cocktail. The reason why we have organizes at the end of the day so that the people have the time, the colleagues have the time to arrive in New York after perhaps having some time to rest after a long flight, and then you can relax, be active in the General Assembly and enjoying the cocktail. Now, on Wednesday, 19th of November, we're going to have all 3 days, actually, we're going to have a welcome breakfast for you. So we learned this a bit from our American colleagues, actually. I think something that we're doing for the first time in this conference. but we believe it's great to have a chat with people from all over the world while you have a coffee and taste some cookies and warm up for the hard and intense sessions that we have planned for you. On Wednesday, we're going to start with the official opening with all the authorities, and then we're going to have a keynote focusing on climate change. We're going to talk about adaptation, we're going to talk about responding and all the efforts that need to be done to reduce the impact of one of the main challenges that we're facing today as a society. After that, we're going to have a quick break, and then we're going to have a fascinating roundtable talking about the port city interface. We have seen all the work that is being done in New York, in Brooklyn specifically, all these active sites that combine public spaces, maritime activities, innovative areas for new companies. So we're going to learn from 4 different cases directly from their presidents, how the same topic has been addressed in other port cities around the globe. After that, we're going to very quickly learn about recent AIVP collaborations. We are working with different partners. We have so many challenges that we cannot do everything ourselves. We cannot do everything alone. So we are building bridges globally to address all these different topics, and we will give more information about this in the coming weeks. In the afternoon, after lunch, we have the parallel tracks, and I will get into that in a minute. I will discuss with you more in detail. But basically, we're going to have a first round of parallel sessions that are going to be a bit more on the planning level and decision-making level. Then we're going to have 3 technical labs, so you can choose one of the 3 topics to get a bit more into the details. And then after the coffee break, we'll have workshops also on relevant topics that we have discussed in AIVP frequently in our network. We are hearing our members. We know that in Lisbon, people want to have more time to express themselves, to participate in the debates. So that's why we have also adapted this program to have a bit more time for these exchanges. The second day of this content program, you can say, Thursday, 20th of November, is going to be all about New York. So as we have seen, we have plenty of things to see. Too many things, actually, if you think about the scale of New York. We don't have time. And as we were seeing in Max's presentation, is all about the contact with the water and the role that these waterways play. So this is a bit what we aim to do on this day. We're going to start with a roundtable reflecting and learning from the finalists of the present one of Connect and how the same topics are being addressed in New York City. As you know, last year we had the first edition of this prize that is destined to highlight and reward innovative projects that are happening worldwide. So we want to know how these projects are doing 1 year after they receive their recognition. And we want to see also how EDC is working on the same issues on New York City's waterfront. After that, as Randy was saying, we have planned a very fun day indeed, because we want to visit the Brooklyn Navy Yard. We're going to see some of the projects that have been developed there. And then we will do a very nice boat tour. I would say it's one of the best ways to see New York, honestly. I mean, as a tourist at least, I had the chance of doing it, and I think is the best way to visit all these different places, because by bus, you just simply cannot do it. You don't have the time. But from the boat and with the explanation from the colleagues of the EDC, we will be learning, enjoying ourselves, networking, chatting, and in general, having a great time. And that day, we will continue discovering Brooklyn, but more of its nightlife, I would say. We'll have our gala dinner. We have some surprise plan, and we will be communicating about it also very soon in our website. But I guarantee, and Justyn and I have been working on it, it's going to be a very New York style gala dinner. A bit different than what we can see also in other places. So it's going to be fun. And then on the final day of the conference, on Friday 21st, we'll go back to serious business. We're going to have a roundtable on port city financing. We know that this is one of the core topics for our members. It's not easy in a moment where public resources are lacking. So it's important to understand and discuss what are new ways to find financing for your port city projects. AIVP has been working on it already for the past year. We have been active in the recent UN Ocean Conference and in the Blue Economy and Finance Forums that took place in Monaco, working with our colleagues from Blue Morpho, and we're going to continue that path. We're going to have a deep dive to discuss some of the key issues that play a role in port cities, and we're going to have this discussion with VIP guests that we will also announce very soon. And then we're going to have a roundtable with decision makers on the social and territorial integration of port activities and port infrastructure. It is a challenge. We know it's not easy when we're talking about large-scale infrastructure that are crucial, not just for the city, but also for the hinterland. It is indeed a delicate balance that we have to find. So we're going to have several presidents and CEOs of port authorities and mayors as well to talk about what strategies they are implementing to achieve and improve this integration. We're going to have a deep dive on one specific case in Spain with the president of the Port Authority and the mayor of Coruña in the north. They are developing a very ambitious waterfront redevelopment projects, and we're going to learn about how this cooperation took place, all the citizen engagement, and how they are heading towards a very good and positive vision for this waterfront. And after lunch on this final day, we're going to have our port city debate. We had already a session of this kind in Lisbon, and we believe it's important also to have different perspectives from academics, maritime economists, designers, port authorities, municipalities, and so on. And we will conclude with the launching of the new edition of the Prize Antoine Rufnacht. So in 2026, we will be giving the second award of this kind. And then we will be closing just before 4 p.m. This is also on purpose. This is so you can enjoy New York. We know that everybody's excited for going there. So we thought that it was relevant to leave some time for all of you to enjoy this great city and get to experience it by yourself. As I said, we have some parallel tracks that I want to discuss just more in detail. Exactly. So on the afternoon of Wednesday, 19th of November, we're going to have the more in detail discussions. So basically, we're going to have 3 rooms. You will be able to choose freely. Unlike in Lisbon, the organization and the logistics are a bit easier. My colleague Lucille will present this in a minute. So you can choose directly there on site which sessions you would like to attend. So we're going to have a first round of parallel sessions that are going to focus on the energy transition, on digital innovation, or on biodiversity and environment, so natural ecosystem. We want to go a bit deeper than what we can do in the plenary sessions. So it's going to be more focused on these more narrower topics. Then we're going to have 3 technical labs. And here we also count with the president of companies or global partners that are specialized on these topics. So we're going to talk about how to generate green energy in the port city territory. And this is something that we have examples directly there in New York, as Max was showing, directly in Brooklyn. We're going to talk also about mobility for cargo and for people. And this is one of the challenges also for port cities. And we will talk again about the waterways. We are seeing innovative projects happening all over the world. So it's important that we learn from what is happening. And then we will also have a discussion on dredging. We know it's one of the most sensitive topics that port cities have to address. And we want to know how this practice can be more sustainable. What can we do with the dredging material that is coming out of these waterways? How can be reused? What can be done? What's being done? We have great examples in our network, and we're going to learn from them. And finally, we're going to have a round of workshops after the coffee break. We're going to talk in one workshop about governance, and we want this to be a very interactive session, also including some cases where the colleagues will be able to make a short presentation, then have more live discussions. We're going to talk about cultural projects. We're fortunate to have having many examples in our network of different scale, different size of projects, from global events that transform the waterfront and can accelerate some interventions, to some programs that are aimed at schools and bringing the children closer to the maritime identity and the port activities that take place on the waterfront. And then also we're going to have a workshop focusing on climate change and coastal resiliency. Again, you can see that this is one of the core topics that we have identified for this edition. It is in our title, it is in our keynotes, and we want to have also a discussion with the members, with experts. We're going to discuss New York again here. We have companies that are specialized and have developed projects on New York's waterfront. So we're going to learn from them, and we're going to see how the same issue is addressed all over the world. So I'm happy also to say that we have a great lineup of speakers. I'm not going to enter into a lot of detail because it will take too long, but we have speakers from all over the world, port authority, municipalities, major companies. You can see here different regions represented. And this is important. This is important because the challenges that we have been discussing, that Max was saying, that Randy also introduced, are global. So it's important that we see how the same challenge is addressed. We are aware that the legal frameworks are different, that the governance might be different, but it's important to compare and to learn what is happening in Singapore, to what is happening in San Diego, to what is happening in Almeria, in Hamburg, in LA, in New York, in Marseille, and so on. So we're happy. We have many more. I would say the lineup is almost closed. We will be sharing the official program with all the details in roughly 1 week, with more concrete names and also some more information about these different speakers. But yeah, I think if you were not excited enough with the presentation from Max and Randy, I think with this program, these speakers, and a great day to see New York from the river, I'm sure you're thrilled. So we look forward to welcoming you in New York. And I think, Lucille, now perhaps you can take the stand and explain a bit where precisely this is going to take place and the logistic details.
Thank you, Jose. So yes, indeed, I will give you some elements of information on the technical and the logistics. So the conference venue will take place. The conference venue is the New York Marriott Hotel, right in the heart of Brooklyn. The whole conference will take place there, except for the second day, Thursday, when there will be a day or dedicated to the discovery of the New York projects, especially a boat tour. Unlike what we proposed last year in Lisbon, all these parallel sessions will take place in the same hotel, which means that you will have the possibility to attend several sessions on the same site. You won't have to run around. It was hence the choice to have only one site. This will, of course, facilitate logistics and comfort of the participants. Now, Marriott Hotel, we negotiated, AIVP negotiated a special rate for the participants who wish to stay in that very hotel, right on site. So it's $349 per room and per person per night for between 14th and 25th of November. And all information is available on the booking facility, will be given to you once you register for the conference. All the details, concerning the tariffs and the programs and the rates and the program are available on the website, AIVP website. Now, also tell you that the AIVP organized a sponsorship offers with platinum, gold, silver, and bronze offering. So the platinum offer is gone because the Port of San Diego and the Red Hook Terminal in New York are. So there's various offers provide some counterparts or previous terms of visibility to facilitate your participation to the conference with special tickets and also, reduced rates for additional participants. Also, we will tell you that for the sponsoring package, where there are visibility and benefits during the conference on the site of the conference, but also visibility, what we call off-site, therefore through our own website and our social networks. Just a focus on the gold offer. With the gold offer, you can have a exclusive visibility on parallel sessions of the Wednesday afternoon. Likewise, all this information is available on our website. Do not hesitate to go and take a look, and do not hesitate to come back to us if you have questions connected with the conference, the rates, sponsors, tariffs, programs. The team is here to listen to you, answer your questions, and facilitate your participation. Now, before giving the floor back to Bruno, just want to tell you that you're already 150 registered for the conference. We do hope that this webinar will be a good teaser, and therefore you will have appetite to join us, for those who have not done it yet. And see you in New York in November for this conference, which I'm sure will be memorable and absolutely great. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Max, Randy, Jose, Justyn. Uh, Everything is ready. Everything is ready so that this event will be a success. Of course, now it's for each and every one of you. It's for you, to be dynamic. Your opening, your state of mind, everything you will, provide during the conference with the team and with our partner. We try to have the best program possible. But of course, then your contributions, ideas will come from you, the participants, the exchange of sharing of good practices. And it is essential for you to come and to share. We'll never say it enough. International cooperation is fundamental to address all the challenges today. We have to exchange, to talk, to discuss. We face global challenges, and therefore everybody should be able to look for solutions, and we have to pull all together in the same direction, or row in the same direction, to be more maritime, and therefore AIVP will be there. I started by saying that this conference is quite significant for us because it is the new starting point for AIVP in North America. So this is something quite a key new step, for our association, and therefore I cannot close this webinar without a little word to Mrs. Geraldine Natz, who is the president of the jury. Well, she is the president of the jury of the Antoine Ruffnac Prize. She's a professor at the Southern California University, former Director General of the Los Angeles Port Authority. She was the leader of the first prize ceremony, and will kick off the second ceremony. So we know that I do hope that I'm certain that many port cities in North America will be able to enter this competition, and we will discover New York. Discovering New York, discovering Brooklyn, will be great. So we're waiting for you then. Thank you all. Thank you all for contributing to the discussions, and see you very soon. Bye bye to all.